Hi, everyone. This is Brian Gutierrez from Keller Williams. And today I would like to talk about the home inspection from the seller's perspective. So, your house has been up on the market. We received an offer. We have negotiated acceptable terms. And now the next step in the process is for the buyer to have the home inspection. So, what does that involve? Well, it involves a few different things. One, the home inspectors want to look at your house itself, any outbuildings that are on the property, if there are any. Also, if you're on well and septic, they will inspect the well and the septic systems, make sure that the flow in the septic field is going well, make sure that the water pressure, and take a water sample for your well itself, make sure that the water is clean, bacteria free, things like that. So all those critical systems are going to be tested in your house. Some other things that they're going to look at too is they're going to take a look at the aging condition of the roof. They're going to look at your foundation. They're going to look at the electrical system, make sure everything is wired properly. They're going to look at the furnace, the heating and cooling, make sure that no heat exchangers are broken or anything like that. And so basically, it's the one chance for the buyer to really get to learn about your house. Now, not all this is negative. Oftentimes, sellers would be like, "Oh, they're looking for problems with the house," and that's not always true. There's kind of a dual purpose to a home inspection. One part of it is for the buyer to know, one, how the house has been maintained in the past, and then two, how to maintain the house in the future. So that is a positive thing. Now, they are looking for things that would not have been noticed when they walked through for the showing. Okay, for example, um, if the wiring in the electrical box is incorrect, if the neutral bars aren't hooked up right, if there's a loose circuit, something like that. If the roof is leaking, they would not have known that when they walked through the house. Again, with the heating cooling, is the heat exchanger fractured and it's letting out carbon monoxide, something like that, right? So the home inspection is also to, yes, uncover anything that might be an issue with one of the critical systems of the house. Okay, because that's important for everybody to know, because those are health and safety issues, right? Radon, that's another great example. Um, so now, when they have their home inspection, one of the biggest questions that I get from sellers are, what do we negotiate from the home inspection? Okay, now I have to say there's no blanket answer for this, but I'm not going to cop out on you, I promise. Okay, every property is unique, every situation is unique. However, in broad general terms, when a buyer is buying a house from a seller, there's a reasonable expectation that that house, that dwelling is functional, right? It's a reasonable assumption to say that the roof should not be leaking, right? That the furnace is working properly, that the electrical is right, that the septic field is draining, right? That there's no bacteria in the water, that it's clean water that you're going to be, drinking, right? So there is a reasonable expectation of those things. So if it is a fundamental critical system of the house, it is a reasonable expectation from the buyer that that is either correct already or needs to be corrected from the seller. If the radon level is through the roof, that needs to be corrected. See what I mean? This is what I'm going for. These are health and safety and critical infrastructure issues that we're talking about that the buyer could not see when they entered the house. Now, once again, there's always exceptions to everything. For example, maybe you inherited a house that was a rental from a family member and you have no love for this house and it's all beat up and torn up and you just want to dump it on the market. Well, that buyer may come in and say, like, "Oh, the roof is leaking." You might say, like, "I don't care, I'm dumping the house. That's why I marked the price so low." You may not want to negotiate that, right? See what I mean? That's just one of maybe 1,000 examples of exceptions to the general rule. But in general, what I explained earlier is what the expectation is from the buyer in an average transaction. So the other question I get too is, how long are home inspections? The average home inspection, depending on the square footage of the house, is between 1.5 to 2 hours in length. Some home inspectors bring out a crew. They bring 2 or 3 guys and they can really go through a house. Some home inspectors work solo and take a little bit longer, and all is well and good. It just depends on what company is performing the home inspection. So if you have any questions about a home inspection, of course, reach out to me anytime. Like I said, each home is and property is unique. Every situation is different. And of course, we will navigate those waters when we get to it. Anyway, thank you so much.